Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Prepper podcast. And today I'm joined by the Browncoat Prepper. How are you doing there?
I'm very well, Mike. Thank you very much. How's yourself?
I'm not so bad. Shall I just call you Browncoat or?
No, you can call me by my first name, Barry. So that's perfectly fine.
Right, Barry. Excellent. It's going to be it'll be a long conversation every time if it was Browncoat Prepper UK every time.
That's fine.
I do like the name though. The first, let me ask you the first question so I don't break continuity. Are you a prepper? Stupid question when it's in your name, but I have to.
I consider myself a prepper, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Primarily, not as
Not as a survivalist, no. I think I've kind of had prepping thoughts, etc., for a good few years, not just because of recent historical events in the country, etc., but I mean, even when I was back at school, it's been a case of, I've put stuff away. I've looked at events and gone, really? Are people falling for this? That kind of thing. So
woken up from a very young age then. So how did you start? What made you take that plunge into start prepping properly? Some people it was a single event, and some people it was just generally.
Yeah, I think just generally, I think it was a case of there was like multiple events occurring and it just kind of made sense to sort of put a bit aside, do a bit of this, do a bit of that, just being a little bit extra vigilant with what was going on around me.
Was there something specific that made you think, wow, I really need to stock up now?
Silly as it seems, it was probably the event from 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. In the day job, in the real world, that was massively impacted by those events. And obviously I could see what was going on there. And I thought, you know what, if they're doing this, this is something serious. And that was kind of the pull the pin on the flare kind of thing. That's what really made me step things up.
Yeah, going from just general to actually focusing on it more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how long have you prepped, would you say? I mean, if 5 years was when you initially made the step up, how long would you say you've prepped altogether though?
Since probably about 85.
85.
Yeah.
There we go.
Long time ago.
We might have some skeptics saying, well, are you not giving up then? Obviously, it's not going to happen if you started in 85. I'm sure people in 85 were saying it's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe not on YouTube, but...
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you get the people that are like, oh, it's not happened now. It's never going to happen. Do you know what? It could. It's as simple as that. People have only got to look at, okay, mainstream media is not a good idea, but just listen to people's conversations.
Yeah.
People are saying.
Mainstream media is not totally out though, right? You can read between the lines on a lot of the stuff you see on there.
That's exactly it. And to be honest, you're probably better off reading between the lines, because then at least you get some grains of truth filtering through. And if you hear it from enough places and it's all the same kind of information, maybe you want to be taking, heed of it and taking the appropriate actions.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you prepping? Because prepping can be many things to many people. It could be just a bug out bag. It could be a foraging. It could be just lots of food. How are you prepping specifically?
So I've got a budget, and I work to a budget each month once I've been paid. And once I've spent that allotted amount out of the budget, then that's the prep's done for the month. So obviously food, equipment, skills is something I'm planning on working on this year. A couple of high ticket expenses, but that's stuff that's budgeted for, like, right, X amount here, then the rest goes on that. And then once that I've got enough for that big ticket item, that's when it gets purchased.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very sensible with it. We're not panic buying then.
No. So I've been doing this long enough so that I'm thinking, right, okay, so I've got a couple of small you know, this kind of size power banks, etc. And then I've got a couple of big ones. I've got some solar panels, etc. Food stashed, equipment, clothing, all that kind of stuff. But some people say, well, haven't you got enough? But the trouble is, you hesitate when you want to say no, but then you look at what you've got and think, well, do you know what? If something happened and I lost it all in one go.
This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
You can't gauge what enough is if you don't know the event, right? I mean,
exactly.
For a 2-day blackout, of course you've got enough.
Yeah, covered. You know, yeah.
For complete Teotihuacan and nothing ever comes back online for 10 years, maybe you've got not quite enough.
Touch and go. Yeah, yeah. Touch and go.
It's just one of those things. So a big question that I always like to ask is the other half and the family on board?
I don't really see a lot of the family as it is now. They've sort of either grown up, moved away, etc., different parts of the country, other parts of the world. Other half, she is kind of borderline. She puts up with my eccentricity, if you want to class it as that. But no, she's. We think along the same lines, so that does help massively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a case of it's completely gone over the head. So she'll be capable in that kind of situation as well. Then,
not so much as me, but I'd say probably about 80%. Yeah, she should be pretty good.
Great. Yeah, that's great. So, are you bug in or bug out? Is there a plan?
Primarily bug in.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've got plenty of areas around me that I could bug out to either on foot or by car. I've got local motorway access, which is, you know, good in one respect for getting a distance in a short time. But the trouble is, if everybody heads there at the same time, you've had it. So backup routes, etc., all planned out, mapped out. Got a few woods. Parks, things like that as well. I mean, we've been out today and had a walk around one of the local parks. While I was there, spotted a few plants. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, useful and good to know. Mark that on the map. Mark that on the map when I get back.
Isn't it weird how it never switches off, does it?
No, absolutely. You know, once you've sort of, I mean, like I've got a few potted trees, etc., and things like that have moved house with me a few times, and they produce a little bit of fruit, which is enough to sort of keep me going through the summer. But again, knowing where you've got local trees by the side of the road, things like that, just for foraging, it's really good information and knowledge to have.
Yeah, and it's amazing what you find. I've lived in my area for just about 2 years now, and we went to a park that we'd not been to before with the kids the other week, and there's a World War II bomb shelter there, a makeshift bomb shelter that's in underground, and it's a gated access to it that's got a little padlock on it. I thought, oh, that's a nice little thing to know about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's it's local knowledge is definitely key with that. So with that in mind, are you lone wolf or are you looking as a mag? Have you got friends that will work with you if something should happen?
There's a few people at work that potentially could be part of a mag. It's hard to catch hold of them at the moment because obviously there's a lot of shift rotations, etc., and they can be deployed elsewhere, etc. Local wise, I've got some sort of extended family who are military trained.
Good to know.
So you know, they're I'm quite lucky to have those. Other than that, it's kind of mostly lone wolf, unfortunately. I know there's a few people in the local Zone 4 group, so, you know, yet to meet up with those yet, but that might be something that happens later on down the line.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know that extended family, even if it is extended family, because if it was a complete collapse sort of thing, everyone's got to sleep, right? Lone wolf is not the ideal way to go.
You've got it, yeah. I mean, like with the scenarios that you've been running on your channel lately, you know, I mean, sat there watching it and taking notes, etc., thinking, yep, that's something I need to have a look at. I mean, to be honest, one of the best things I ever did, get a notebook, watch these videos, take notes, add to your own preps, because you never know. You might just drop on a conversation with somebody. They give you the right piece of information. Everything falls into place.
Yeah. And it has for me. My prepping's come on so much since starting this channel. I never started this channel as any sort of expert. I just knew what I knew, and I did what I did, and I had my own skill set. But I've learned so much over this past year that, you know, it's invaluable in the comments, in the lives, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I mean, I see a lot of other channels, etc., and majority of them obviously are American, and most of the Americans are sort of ex-military, ex-security, ex-private firms, etc., and they've got those additional skill sets. Now, obviously, I mean, my age and health at the time, for me, that kind of world was completely beyond me, so I couldn't go down that route. But I'm lucky enough to know some people who have gone down that route. So again, they're part of the mag if anything happens.
Yeah. Do they know this, or are they just going to get roped in at the time?
They're going to get roped in, but believe me, they'll be more than happy about it.
Why the Browncoat Prepper? It's an interesting name.
Okay, bit of a sci-fi geek.
Okay.
So one of my favourite programs is Serenity from a few years ago, Joss Whedon. Yeah,
I know.
And obviously you had the Browncoat Rebels that were in part of that. And as you can probably see behind me, that there is the Browncoat. And that's just a DMP shirt that's been dyed a darker shade. So yeah, it's just trying to, believe it or not, trying to find a channel name or a name to be known by online is proving a bit more difficult now, because you've got UK Urban Prepper, Prepper UK. And
I tried to think of something unique. Unless you're going to come up with something random like Moon Pig or Purple Lizard or, you know, Green Monkey, it's just not going to work out.
No, I mean, I wanted something that was easily identifiable, that if I wanted to sort of go down the branding route, I could use and do. And I settled on Browncoat Prepper UK, and here we are.
I pictured it as a full-on Western-style duster coat, you know, that kind of brown coat. That's what I pictured it as. There you go. Look at that. Without seeing.
That is the proper McCoy, that is.
Gotta get the Stetson to go with it, though.
No. The Stetson's not part of it. Trying to find a hat to fit a head this size is near on impossible unless you get it from the States.
Well, there you go. Top tips. You get it from the States now, it'll be 100% more.
I've already got a couple, and that's it. No more, because believe me, that was silly expensive.
Oh, I know. I've been to Texas. What current threats do you perceive that your preps might come in handy for? I mean, it's banding around at the moment that it's the closest we've been. Like, people are saying there's more tension than the Cold War at the moment. Is that how you're feeling with it all? Or do you see something more domestic being the threat?
Up until before Trump took office this time round, I would have said the threat originally was more homegrown in our own government, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the current political parties, both a joke.
Yeah.
Both a joke. We need, to be honest, a completely different party in to throw a whole new bunch of fresh blood in there and to shake things up a bit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
it needs change.
We're stuck with the devil we know.
That's the problem, isn't it? Is like this time round, obviously we had Reform, which is a new party, which, I mean, people say, oh, it's just UKIP, but it's not. And thing is, I vote on policies, right? Every year. I'm not a dedicated this, a dedicated that. I vote on policies. Whoever's going to help me more, put more money in my pocket and look after me and the country more, will get my votes. Yeah. And I read their policies before Farage even came in. And I thought, geez, this just sounds like the lads talking down the pub. You know, when you turn around to your mates and you go, we all know how to fix this country. How come them bastards don't know how to do it?
Yeah, bang on. Absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head exactly. Like I say, that up until Trump got in, I would have said our homegrown issues were what we needed to really confront. Now, obviously, the landscape's changed. You've got
chaos.
Oh, yeah, basically, you've got the overseas wars that we're kind of not involved in,
but just poking with a stick.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got Donald throwing his toys out of the pram every 5 seconds at anybody that doesn't agree with him and won't go do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we're now seeing the knock-on effects of that with tariffs and all that malarkey. I can see it's going to be a very rough few years while Trump is still in office. I think once he's gone out of office, things might change back.
It could get worse though as well. It could get worse
though
as well.
There is always that chance.
I mean, the invasion of Ukraine happened on Biden's watch, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think they've got a very similar problem to us. They've got a two-party system. Independents have no chance, and they say what they want to get in, and when they get in, they do what they want. And then everyone's like, "Oh, this is terrible. Let's vote for the other. Oh, this is terrible. Let's vote for the other." We just go like this.
Well, this is it. Look at our own government in recent history. Look at what we did. They promised us the earth, and what did they do? They gave us hell.
Yeah, especially if you're a pensioner.
Oh, yeah. I'm not that far yet. Heading that way, but not yet.
Well, wait till there's another heating allowance before you retire. So I mean, prepping's general anyway, right? So whether you're preparing for a little blackout or you're preparing for the knock-on effects of war and conflict, it's still kind of centered around the same sort of thing. You don't have to give specifics as well, but it's good for context because we get all walks of life as preppers. Yeah. We've got doctors, we've got factory workers. Roughly, what's your day job?
Let's just say ambulance service, logistics side. So I'm not actually out on the road.
Okay. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Awesome. That gives you a bit of insight into some medical sides of things as well. Even if you're not directly hands-on, you'll have access to materials and, research stuff and things like that.
There is that possibility. Yes.
That's cool.
I can't say no more than that.
That's fine. It's just good to know because I'm speaking to a lot of radio shows at the moment and they think we're all like nutty people, with a minimum wage job in McDonald's and spending all our money on bullets, beans and Band-Aids. And it's good to tell them like, this is this people are like, people are this, people are that, so it's everybody. It's not just, it could be the guy next door to you. Barry could be the guy next door to you.
Potentially, one never knows.
So hope your neighbours are not watching. Why should other people prep? Why? I mean, should it be an exclusive club just for us? We don't want the hurdled masses doing it, right?
No, the question should be, why isn't everybody prepping?
Very true. It's very true.
That should be the question.
Have you had these conversations with people that are non-preppers?
A few. Not as many as I would have thought, given recent events in the country and worldwide, etc. But you walk past a smoking shelter at work, etc., and you hear people, and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting to know." And you have a look and see who said that. Yeah, mental notes, etc. But yeah, why shouldn't everybody should be prepped? Well, everybody does prep to a certain degree, but they don't even realize it. They get health insurance, they have car insurance, breakdown insurance,
spare tires, and
this is it. Yeah, I mean, on one of our cars, we've taken out insurance actually on the tires themselves, because you buy a brand new set of tires with you can drive off the forecourt, go over a nail, and wreck a set of brand new tires.
Yeah,
we had the option at the time to take out insurance on the tires. And then that cuts the costs down should we need to replace them before the end of their expected life. Brilliant piece of prepping.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people don't see it as prepping though, they just think it's baked beans and shotguns shells stacked up in a basement somewhere.
I mean, the media paint us with a bit of a tarred brush. It's all Walking Dead and Last of Us and Threads and all that kind of thing. But like you say, you've got people from all walks of life, all ages, and there's quite a few sensible people out there. You got a few idiots, a few people online promoting this, that, and the other, etc. But I would say generally, majority of people are preppers and they don't know it. Sometimes they might need a little bit of extra encouragement.
Yeah. Have you tried to convince anybody to prep, like family or relatives?
I've been lucky in that respect that majority of the family that I do have contact with already prepped to some sort of degree anyhow.
That's
so
good.
It's not really been a hard issue.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I mean, it was the norm, right? I don't know about you, but my parents and my grandparents always had. I mean, if we'd have everything had closed when I was a kid, we'd have ate for 30 days easily. With the cupboards were always full. The kids always cans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just
I remember my folks' house. They had a pantry under the stairs with a big stone slab at the back of it. Shelves down both sides of it, and it was always full. You know, we could have got snowed in and not left the house for a few weeks, and it wouldn't have been a blind bit of difference. Yeah. My grandparents, when they were alive, had 3 of the massive shop-sized freezers in an outbuilding, and they were always packed. Always.
Yeah. And yet we've turned into this on-demand time. Everyone's getting the shopping the same day for what they're eating. It's madness.
Yeah,
it really
everything's convenience. Pick up the phone, hit a certain courier service or a food delivery service, and it's here in minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
We've kind of gone soft as a nation in that respect.
It's going to be a nightmare after it hits the fan, clearing out all them bodies that are there, just skeletons still holding the Just Eat app. Waiting.
Yeah. And you see the body decay away, the McDonald's is still sitting there. Yeah.
That will last forever.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of your insights into the prepping community in the UK. Now, I'm being general here. I'm not talking about the community that you've joined on our Discord and what you're part of now, but in general, the UK prepping community. What's your thoughts on that in general?
It's improving. It's improving. There's definitely more prepper groups popping up online, on the various platforms, etc. You've got a few strange ones on there with a few strange individuals in there, but you get it at every workplace, at every establishment, anywhere.
Yeah. There's always a weirdo.
Hey, welcome to my world.
If there's not a weirdo where you work, then you're the weirdo.
I am the weirdo. Yes, we got
it. But yeah, it was quite hidden. Do you think it's coming out more?
Definitely. I wouldn't say that's because of any help from the government, etc. I mean, our own government, yes, they've put up a couple of websites, you know, saying, oh, okay, this is our preparedness plan and this is what we advise, blah blah blah. But it's nothing compared to some of our overseas colleagues.
No.
I think even before you'd mentioned on your channel about I think it was the Swedish yellow manual. Yeah. I'd already got a copy of it translated online, and I printed it out, and I was going through it, making notes, etc., and adding a few preps, etc. Even along those lines, you know, it's good to sort of cherry pick from other sites and other communities, even if they're not your own country-based ones, because they might come up with something that you never know you might going to need.
Yeah, and cherry picking is a good phrase with this as well. I was looking at the Red Cross one earlier on today as well, and they've got some great advice for like a 72-hour kit. They've also got some completely pointless advice for a 72-hour.
Some of it can be outdated as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's good to cherry pick because everything's personal as well, right? What you need to survive and what you need to survive and possibly thrive is going to be different from what I need, right?
Yeah,
different
absolutely.
skills, different abilities, different circumstances. You know, I've got a screaming baby,
Yeah.
for example.
Everybody as a prepper is an individual as to what they need. But as a prepping community on the whole, if everybody pulled together, you've got more chance of survival.
Yeah. Which is my end goal, hopefully, at some point, getting everyone together. But we've started making inroads into that, and we've got a great community, which is good.
We have,
and we're starting to show that prepping can be normal. It can be normalized. It's not all crazy, bug-eyed, the end is nigh kind of thing.
No.
What's your next preps? What's next on the list to get?
Oh, I would have liked to have said I'd like to keep increasing the food side of things, more long-term stuff. I've got a lot of short stuff that I'm cycling my way through. But you know, if some of these blackouts do go on longer than the government is turning around and saying they will, and I think, to be honest, that
obvious,
they probably will.
Ask anyone who lives near Heathrow.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's a perfect example. You know, people were caught basically with the trousers down, and you know, they paid the price for it.
Yeah, with Storm Ewan, there was people still out after a week, right? There was a week without power. That would really, people would really struggle with that. So you're looking at long term. Are you thinking like grains and rices and stuff, or are you thinking more freeze dried and that kind of shelf life stuff?
I've got a few of the pastas and rices and things like that, and I've started to get a few MREs, military and off the shelf, and I'm looking at some Ready Wise as well, and one of the other companies from overseas. I've already had a few free sample sachets sent my way, and to be honest, they weren't too bad. But then again, I can probably eat pretty much anything as it is. So,
well, if you do get Ready Wise, I've got a discount code for you. So let me know before you order. But the thing is, I don't mind Ready Wise.
Yeah,
I tried it. I did a review on it. I quite like the flavors. The mac and cheese was great, but I like that kind of artificial American cheese anyway. So the flavors weren't bad. The stroganoff one was absolutely superb. I could eat that every day, but the calories are next to nothing. Just think you're going to have to subsidize whatever you eat through Ready Wise, I would say.
Yeah, as you say, you've done a review on that, and that's what sort of brought Ready Wise to my attention. And obviously what you said about the calories as well. So obviously I've got to look at some sort of supplements regarding that. I've got sort of the vitamin pills and things like that stashed away as well. But yeah, it's calorie dense food that is on the list to get as well.
Yeah, cool. And last one on that. If there's no budget, if the budget's out the window, Euro Millions time, what's the dream prep?
The dream prep?
Yeah.
Move from where I am.
Yeah.
With potential targets for anything coming into the country.
Right.
I'd probably be toast.
Right.
Simple as. So I've identified a couple of locations further up the country that would be my primary purchase if I did win the Euros, etc. If it wasn't a massive win, I'd possibly head south, a bit warmer.
You need the massive win to head south. Have you seen the price of beer down there?
You've not heard of brewing your own.
They'll tax that soon as well. It'll all be the same. Yeah, excellent. So that's pretty much it. I've come to the end of my list of questions.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to put forward before we end?
No, just, thanks for having me on again. It's been a pleasure. Anybody who does get around to watching this, just make sure you just keep prepping. It doesn't have to be a massive layout all the time. Little and often, that will help you immensely. So just keep it up, folks, because you never know when you're going to need it.
And is there a Browncoat Prepper UK YouTube channel coming?
There is a channel coming. The channel itself is there, but there's no content on it as of yet. Because to be honest, I haven't had the time to actually do anything because I've just been so busy with other stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, future plans, there is a channel coming.
Excellent. And we'll put the link in the description. So you don't want to miss the first video. It's always the best one. It's always the most awkward one. So make sure you go and subscribe to Browncoat Prepper UK. And as soon as the content's out, you'll get a notification for that. Thanks for coming on, Barry. It's been really appreciated. Love your t-shirt representing the brand fully. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. And there you go.
I've outdone Brian on that one.
There you go. How many cans of Pepsi can you fit in it? That's the question.
I'd probably get 3 in that mug, to be honest.
Oh, you don't want to. Pepsi would melt the mug.
Nah.
For everyone else, thank you for joining me for another Prepper podcast. If you're interested in joining me on the podcast yourself, please email the channel at ukurbanprepper@gmail.com. And I'll see you again soon, and hopefully we'll see Barry again soon, and maybe he'll come and join us on the fireside for more of a grilling from all of us. Thanks very much, everyone. Oh, and I've lost the button. There we go. Goodbye.
Bye.